What would happen to society if strangers could know your home address and your name just by looking at you? Well, this isn't a theoretical question. Two Harvard students created a system that automatically stalks people on the street. Using a pair of smart glasses, they created an app that gives them personal details of people that they run into on the street. In a video that they published, they go up to strangers with information that they gleaned from these smart glasses, asking about donations that had been made to a school, and pretending to know them, which seemingly worked.
Wait a second! How easy is it to run facial recognition anyways?
Well, to show you, I put a photo of me that has never been online before through the same kinds of systems that they used, and even without paying, you can see in 2 seconds, I've got results to my high school website and some random YouTube video where I'm in my bathrobe for some reason.
That sounds bad.
It's really bad, but it's not new. Facial recognition is already being used around the world today. In 2020, the journalist Kashmir Hill broke the news on Clearview AI, the first real facial recognition software that was being used by law enforcement agencies and governments around the world to profile suspects.
Wait, how did they get access to our faces in the first place?
Well, it's an open secret that Clearview AI and other companies scrape social media, like Facebook, to create a database of faces and match them up with names. This is obviously against most social media's terms of service, but they seem to do it anyways.
Couldn't they have asked for permission instead?
Well, if they had, I don't think anyone would have said yes.
Well, I suppose it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission, but now that we know about it, surely things have gotten better.
These companies are still operating with a lot of secrecy. To this day, mentioning Kashmir's name or looking her face up with these systems could get your account suspended on even the fancy police databases.
Why did the students use the smart glasses? Couldn't they have just used a photo on your phone?
Well, if you're walking through a crowd with a phone, people can see you're recording them. While Meta includes a privacy light on its smart glasses, it's hard to see them. So the smart glasses make it seem like nothing creepy is going on.
Okay, but surely that's not what Meta had in mind when they decided to create these smart glasses, right?
It's worth noting that this is, again, completely against Meta's terms of service, but these glasses can go live on Instagram Reels. The live stream from these glasses goes into an app that the students made, which extracts faces and sends them into facial recognition databases. They use generative AI to look up more information about the person, and they use public registries, data leaks, to create a glanceable summary, which can include home addresses, parents' names, or any other information that's online.
Well, at least that sounds like a lot of work. I'd never be able to do that.
This project was a lot of work for 2 students. But the fact that it's even possible with such a small team is kind of the whole point. Companies have different incentives and bigger budgets to deploy much more sophisticated facial recognition systems.
All right, thank you, Mr. Doom and Gloom. But this technology has to have some good sides to it.
Well, of course. It's being used to keep minors away from social media, which is a net good, or speeding up your passage through immigration. In policing, it can also be incredibly powerful. Like, there are stories of abducted children being found, or solving 30-year-old criminal cases. If used with your consent, this technology is great.
Well, you see, when you put your mind to it, you can have some positive outlook.
The problem is that it's not always used with your consent. When it's used against you without your knowledge, there can be catastrophic consequences. However impressive, these systems make mistakes. They are known to be biased or less accurate against minorities, leading to false arrests in cases where facial recognition was used as evidence for a crime. This is not the first time that a new technology introduced to policing and the courts has led to this kind of consequence. We saw something similar happen with DNA evidence, which around the turn of the century saw a huge amount of false convictions made on too little data and hasty conclusions made off of primitive technology.
Okay, but we got better at handling DNA testing today, right? How did things get better on that front? Maybe we can use some of that for facial recognition.
Well, first, the technology got way better. We're also seeing that kind of progress with facial recognition. But also, in countries around the world, regulations have been passed to limit the use of DNA evidence imposing transparency and controls on when it is deployed. Facial recognition is used by the public and private sector, so it's even more necessary for countries around the world to create regulation and ensure that these systems operate clearly and fairly. Without that transparency, the downsides of this facial recognition tech will go unchecked.
Okay, so if they didn't want to spy on people, why did the students even create this project in the first place?
Well, their stated goal is to raise awareness about how easy it is to use facial recognition. And we've all dreamed about someday being able to remember someone we met 5 years ago and know what we talked about, who they are, what their kids' names are, etc. These glasses are the first step towards that technology.
Yeah, it's true that I really want that, but now that I know how it would work, I'm not sure I'd actually want it with how invasive it would be.
Right, and I think that's how most people feel when they learn about this. If this glasses tech spreads to the broader public, it will empower and might encourage antisocial or stalker behaviors. There are ways to opt out of some of the facial recognition databases which have been laid out in the documents the students created. But this technology raises a lot of really tough questions. For example, is there a line between implementing technology that helps catch dangerous criminals and between implementing technology that empowers bad actors? Do you want access to e-banking from your phone? And are you willing to give your face data to a creepy third party to verify it? Is privacy in public spaces dead? And will that lower crime? Is that a trade-off we're willing to make? Or is that a trade-off we can even have the power to make? These are questions that we have to grapple with today. And on that heavy note, I think that's all we've got for you.
Right. And we also have a video right here that talks about how much of your personal data is out there and what you can do to limit it.
Stay safe out there and let us know what your thoughts are on this topic. Until next time, I guess you'll just have to
Take care.
Take care.